Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Mordechai. How's everybody doing? I will be back, Be'ez Hashem, to Chicago, going right after Shir, going to Albany, New York, to Tannersville. I'll let you know how it goes. Until then, not the Catskills, Tannersville. It's a little different. Eli Stefansky, I want to share a picture I had taken while on vacation. I'm with a friend exploring and hiking through Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. Wow, this is one of the things I wanted to do. Always wanted to do it, I don't know. When I lived there, I said, I'm going to go. It was summer. It never worked out. One of the most notable sites in the park is the Old Faithful Geyser. It is named Old Faithful because it is irregular and consistent. I knew I had planned the trip. I needed to take a picture and learn at this site. Old Faithful might be the wonder of nature that best symbolizes Daf Yomi, regular and spectacular. Thank you for helping me to continue learning every day. Toda. Ephraim Reese, here he is, learning by the guys. Before I show this video, I kind of botched up the story I said yesterday because I saw the original from Ephraim Shapiro from North Miami Beach. And basically he says the story that somebody came to Rav Vosner, not the other Rav Vosner, I forgot his first name, for Feher and Dal Shulchan Aruch, he knew about Peh, inside out, backs and forwards. So Rav Vosner went and asked this younger man's father, was your son always a genius? He said, no, let me tell you the story. And he told him the story about the time when there was a boy that had a terrible stutter and he couldn't get through the aliyah and the whole yeshiva was tumbling and they were embarrassed. And he got up and he did the reverse Hagbah to divert the attention of the boys, and they started talking about him and that. So he diverted the attention. He says, from that day on, he had atzlacha. That being said, I want to show you this video from our dear Chaver. He just donated a kidney. Here he is.
Hi, Reb Eli. My name is Morty Strauss. I just donated a kidney last week. A lot of people are calling me a hero and a tzaddik, and I just wanted to say I'm no hero. I'm no tzaddik. I'm just a regular guy. I have my struggles at home.
Ooh, Klal. Okay, I want to stop it, but instead of stopping it, I jumped to something else. I want to pause it for a second. He says he's not a tzaddik. He's a regular guy. He has struggles. He has nisyonos in work, at home, the whole thing. So when I saw this, I was thinking to myself, we all have our struggles. We all have nisyonos at work, at home, etc., etc. But I believe he's a superhero. At the time he gave his kidney, he gave a part of himself, a selfless act of giving to somebody that he doesn't even know, without any monetary gain, just for complete chesed. So the guy is a superstar. He's a gadol hador. At that moment, he's a gadol hador. And if you take the story from Rabbi Shapiro, say, look, you go through Shas, you go through our Gedolim, Rebbe Kiva, whoever it is, it was always one moment in their life that they did something extraordinary that set them on a path. Yaakov Avinu, there's many stories where yesh koina ilama b'sha'achas. None of us are tzaddikim. We all have our nisyonos, but very few of us did what this guy did. To say, I'm giving a kid, I'm going through a surgery that's going to be harmful for my body. It's going to be who knows what. It's painful. I don't care. I'm giving it to somebody else. So at that moment, he's a tzaddik. We can't focus on the other stuff. I'm upset at him that he's saying that he is a superhero. In my eyes, he's a superhero. And the point is that just like that guy with the Hagbah, he did one thing. And his father said and Hagbah, to do reverse Hagbah, was a very, very thoughtful thing, but it doesn't come close to giving a kidney. And he took that inspiration, that moment of godless, and he went sailing with it for the rest of his life. So to you, tzaddik, you have to go sailing for the rest of your life. Let's see where this is. But he has a message here for the Olam. Let me see if I could...
Hi, Reb Eli. My name is Morty Strauss.
Morty Strauss.
I just donated a kidney last week. A lot of people are calling me a hero and a tzaddik, and I just wanted to say I'm no hero. I'm no tzaddik. I'm just a regular guy. I have my struggles at home. I have struggles at work, and I just wanted to send people a reminder that it's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. that the one thing that I have in my life that really helps me get past a hard day is Daf Yomi. That no matter what's going on in your day, there's always a brand new daf to bring you closer to Hashem, to bring you closer to other Jews. And even if you miss one, you can always pick it up again tomorrow. So I just wanted to remind people, it's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. Keep shtagging.
Shkoyach. All right, here he is. The ring on his finger, the sweatshirt, all Yidden, all types. It's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. Al Chesed, who knows who he gave his kidney to? I don't know if you met the guy or not, but he's our hero for now. Next. Eli, Mazel Tov, your son's bar mitzvah. I just completed 2 years doing the daf with you. I really started with Sukkah. And I've not missed a day. Really enjoy your shir. Should only have nachas from your entire family. Best regards, Mickey Abov. So you received a bunch of these, and it's a tremendous thing because there are a lot of people that started in Sukkah, and when it came around to Yavamas, and they fell off the bandwagon. To stick it out for 2 years is a tremendous achievement, and mazel tov to all of those who started Sukkah. We'll keep on going. We'll finish shots together. And here I got a mazel tov in Yiddish. Mazel tov Rav Eli for the bar mitzvah from Yoel Chaim. The Eibishter soll helfen, soll zen, the Torah chippen massen toivim, no nachas. Kiryas Yoel, MDY, wünschte. He thought it's Yoel. No, I know exactly who this guy is. He's actually Satmar Chassid that lives in Kiryas Yoel. He's a big part of the shir, so he's Shkoyach. Kiryas Yoel. Next. Oh, we're already there. The Klal is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, Shalom Esther Bas Bela. Yosef, call Mr. Anonymous's or Rabbi Anonymous's brother-in-law and tell him we're here. We're waiting for him to start. Reb Simi. The Masechta is sponsored by Moshe Banda. Thank Hashem that I'm able to thank him for everything that I have. Paras HaChodesh Linin Shmas Chai Bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh Linin Shmas Zechariah Ben Moshe. Brain intact, unleash your full potential. Should be Zohar B'nas Kedusha. Tremendous success in all my endeavors. Art of the month. For complete Refuos, for Chaim Tzvi Ben Leo, we're very short on sponsors today. For me, it's great. For MDY, it's terrible. We don't have a turning of the daf sponsor. We don't have a Mishnah sponsor. We don't have we have one day sponsor. Givaldik. So everybody, just to remind Oilam, I'm going to New York tonight. Tomorrow is going to be shir in Hunter. Shmotzi Shabbos, 2 hours after Shabbos. Sunday, 7:30. Monday, I think it's 1 o'clock. And then I'm coming back. And then we have to talk about Erev Tisha B'Av. We have to do the shir before Chatzos. And the Matzah is Tisha B'Av, like at least 2 hours after the fast, because I need to get to eat. I need to prepare shir. I don't know when to prepare that one. Because the night is, I want to tell you a quick story that Yaakov Friedman sent me today. I think it's a beauty. It just fits in with everything else. And if anybody has Geshmaka stories for the 9 days, please send them in. It's about Rebbe Avram Genachovsky. There's a book written about him. He was a Magid Shir in Shabin. And he's a Goin in Ben Olam Chaver. There's all the stories I said over the famous one when a bacher rang the bell on Shabbos on his door, and the bacher forgot by mistake. He pushed the bell, and then he came out like 20 minutes later, and he opened the door. He says, and he came with his pajamas and everything. So it says in the story that he ran back to his room. He took off his clothes, put on he pretended that he didn't hear the doorbell, that nothing happened. To make. But there's another story that somebody just sent me, a beautiful story. That somebody in Torah anytime was saying from the book that Rebbe Avram Genachovsky believed that one of the Bachar Yeshiva needed to see a psychiatrist, needed to take some medication to make him feel good. And the boy was, embarrassed to go to a psychiatrist, didn't want to go. So Rebbe Avram kept thinking, Rebbe Avram said, I'll go with you. Okay, fine, go with me. The boy said, okay. They get to the psychiatrist, and as they walk in, to their luck, one of the older guys in yeshiva walks out the door. And Rebbe Avram, without thinking, he realizes a tremendous busha for this elderly. He's a married guy, part of the yeshiva. They just caught him in the psychiatrist's office. So Rebbe Avram goes over and says, "Listen, do me a huge favor, please. You just caught me here. You saw what's going on. Please don't tell anybody you saw me here." And he took it off the boy, made it about him. He said, "I have my issues. I have my anxieties. Whatever. Please don't tell anybody." Like this, he smoothed out the situation. Gain and Midas. Our boys are holding on the bottom of Amud Beis by the Mishnah. The Heilige Mishnah is sponsored by Eli. We'll just say Eli. English as his father, even though he's not sponsoring today. A person going out b'koilar. Now, if you notice, the word koilar is similar to our English collar. And basically it means, here, there's some sort of picture here of a yid going out b'koilar. It's somebody that's sentenced to death. They would put a leash around his neck and they'd schlep him. So if a person goes out b'koilar, he's going to die. V'omar, and he said, he gave commands. Kisvu get lishti. So what's the proper way to say it? What does a regular, mature, easygoing guy, not under duress, say? He says, Kisvu utnu. He gives two commands, write the get and give the get. This guy skipped the main part. He skipped tnu. So we have to say, and why would he be saying that he wants to get? Like we see throughout Shas, he's fearful that he wants to do his wife a favor. He doesn't want her to fall to Yibum, to his brother. His brother might not be the right guy for her. So he does her a favor and he gives her a get so they're divorced. And she doesn't have to fall to Yibum. The thing is that because he's under duress, it's his last moments in his life. They know that you don't come back. They're trying to say, you're not coming back. Nobody's ever come back from that situation. They're walking him with the chain on his neck. So he says, kiss will get. Okay, so he didn't think properly. He didn't say the proper sentence, kiss would nu. But we have to understand that what he meant is write a get and give the get. And he had a pachad, he had a fear. Therefore, under duress, we could understand that what he meant is give it also, so we'll stick in that word for him. And then they changed the rule. Even if a guy's not literally a minute away from death, but he went on a big journey. He's going through the desert. He's going on the ocean. In those days, who knows how many people came back. So if he commands and he says, kiss get lishti, he means also tnu. Even somebody who's very sick, also, there's not a shchivra as much as he's very sick. He could also say kisvu and not nu, and we understand nu. Says the Gemara, this is not the first time we had it in the Masechta, probably the third time. Gniva yoytze b'koiler hava. We just had the other day that Gniva was walking by and they wanted to stand up for him. And they said one to another, they said, oh, he's a Bal Machlokes. So over here you see again a tremendous Talmud Chacham, a Gadol b'Torah, like Kairach. Doesn't matter how big you are in Torah. If you're part of a Machlokes, then this is what happens at the end. Yoytze b'koiler hava. He started. The Gemara tells us in the beginning of the stuff they started out with Mar Ukva, and Mar Ukva wanted to do away with him and basically gave him up to the Malchus, whatever the story is over there. But for the 9 days, Machlokes is no good, and Machlokes, he caused Machlokes, he is sentenced to death. So he's dying. He said, let me do something with my property. Havu arba me'il zuzel Rebbe Avino. Give 400 zuz to Rebbe Avino from the wine of Nahar Panya. I have wine in Nahar Panya. Now Rabbi Yisai, what exactly did he say? Let's think about a sentence. It's basically incoherent. It doesn't make any sense what he said. Give $400 from my wine in Nahar Panya. Is it wine? Is it dollars? Do I sell the wine? Do I give dollars? What exactly? Do I squeeze the wine and make dollars? Like, what happened over here? So first of all, Nahar Panya, Taisus says in another Masechta, Nahar Panya is Harpanya, one word. And Harpanya, we once learned that Harpanya has the best fruit and bubble. Okay, fine. Maybe it has really good wine there. Omer Reb Zero. Doro Reb Avino l'siltei v'ozal l'gabi d'Ravuna d'Rabbi. Reb Zero says, I recommend that Reb Avino, he's the one that was the recipient of this 400. Now, I said many times 400 is always a guzma, but over here it seems like there's a number here. He said, I want 400 zuz to Rabbi Avino. Says Rebbe Zero, if we go like Rav Huna, his Rebbe, then everything will be okay. Let him take a bunch of food in a basket, and go say Yishkoyach to Rav Huna. Because according to Rav Huna, we could give him the 400. Maybe according to others, he won't get anything. Give a Yishkoyach to Rav Huna. Which reminds me, I say this not so often. I said it maybe once or twice. But G'dolei Hadar, they always are upset that you don't come back to give them the good news. I happen to be upset at the Olam also. I gave everybody a bracha a year ago that they shall have Ben Zachar after 9 months. Nobody came back. Nobody besides Goldstein, but that was a specific bracha to him, and he came back. But my general bracha, I'm sure many people have Ben Zachars. What about you, Yosef? No? No?
17 months ago.
Maybe you weren't listening to that shir. Anyway, no, but seriously, you're supposed to be chas v'shalom. You're supposed to be going. Maybe I was in Chicago that day, and that's why you didn't listen.
I listened to all of them.
I know. I get it. So Rav Avina, if he went to, he should go and say Yishkoyach to Rav Huna. Why? Let's see. Says Reb Zer like this. Rav Huna, Adam Rav Huna, Gittin kimatan asay. I'm making like a gzir shava between a get and a gift. Not really a gzir shava, but like a tzushtel. You say whatever get has, a matana has, and whatever matana has, a get has. Ma matana say mama chayzer. By matana, if a shchimera gives a gift, he says, I'm giving $10 million to my friend because he believes he's dying, and then it turns out he had a miraculous cure. He gets all the $10 million back. Avgito Yomavad Chayzer, and if he gives his wife a divorce based on the fact that he thinks he's dying, she's not divorced. Umagito, so that's get is like matana. And now we're going to go matana is like get. Umagito Avagav Dli Parish, even though he didn't explain, Kim in the Omar, Kis Avagav Dli Nu, just like by get. In our Mishnah we learned that it doesn't have to say tenu, he says kisvu. And we understand from his words what he meant. So his issue is, what happened to the kinyan? Nobody made a real kinyan. You can't. How are you acquiring the 400 zuz if the guy never made a kinyan for you? Okay, so you don't need a kinyan because it's similar to a get. Maskulo Reb Abba Imam Matano Yishnalach Misa Avged Yishnalach Misa. Wait a minute, Matano can be given after the guy dies. You don't have to. If the guy says give 400 zuz and they killed him that minute, you could still go to Har Panya and get the wine and do the whole thing. It could be after Misa, after he dies. So maybe you should give a get after Misa, but you can't give a get after Misa. So you see that your tzushtel, your comparison between get and Matana is not true. So what are you talking about? It's possible to give a matana a gift after death. Once the husband is dead and there's no marriage, you can't give a get to somebody that's not married. It's not even possible. If it was possible, maybe I would do it, but it's just not possible. I'll tell you what Rabbi was asking. It's a shchimera that's giving a gift. Not a whole gift, it's a partial gift. Now what's going on here? If a guy believes that he's dying in the next minute, and he gives $1 million out of his $100 million fortune, then he's not being serious. He doesn't really think he's dying, because if he thought he's dying, then he'd give everything away. He's keeping some for himself. Why? Because he thinks he's going to live. Somebody that's dying doesn't need anything for himself. He's not bringing anything. Nothing, zero. Not even the pair of socks in that story. Garnished. So he gives everything away. So if he only gave Rav Avina 400 zuz out of all his wine, so obviously he's not a real shchimera. That's what Rabbi was talking about. That was his problem. But Mechlad Rav Huna Savar Lebai Kinyan. Rav Huna holds. It's not really Rav Huna. It's Rav Zera in Rav Huna believes that Rav Avina acquired the 400 without making a kinyan. As the Gemara B'Kaimelon the Bai Kinyan. You need to make a kinyan. Says when a person commands based on his death, that's different. You don't need to make a kinyan. Says Gemara Klal, the Rabbi Sovar mitzav machas miso by a kinyan. But Rabbi that argues, he holds you have to make a kinyan. But we paskin and you see there's a tzion to Shulchan Aruch, you don't have to make a kinyan. If a guy commands based on his death, he's on his death when he commands. You don't have to make any kinyan. It goes to the person that he commanded. Elo Rabbi had a big kasha. Chamra loy kamar. His words make absolutely no sense. And since they make no sense, don't give him anything. Why? Because he didn't say give him 400 barrels. Demei chamra loy kamar. He didn't say give him 400 barrels worth. He said mei chamra, 400 from the wine. Now wine doesn't have money. Wine can't produce money. So what did he mean? So what does Rav Huna believe? Mechamra kidei liyapas is koichai. In other words, Rav Zeira, Rav Huna, the Mandalomer that says that Rav Avina gets his 400 because what Geniva, who was a Talmud Chacham, was trying to do here was trying to put Rav Avina in the best position possible. Now what? If he would have said wine, then what if the wine spoils? And if he said money, what if the money gets lost? So he said money from the wine. In other words, at the end of the day, I want Rabbi Avina to get 400 solid cash. You lost it, start all over again. It gets spoiled, give him from another batch. Give him 400, the best of the best. And the best way I could figure it out to say, so he threw out these words. And in fact, Sholchim Itam, they sent from Eretz Yisrael, Mechamra, why did Geniva use such a funny lashon? To make it better for Rabbi Avina, that he should have the best of both worlds. He should end up with 400 zuz without any questions. Says the Heilige Mishnah, the official Mishnah, Mishoya Mushlach Labar. There's a person in a pit. Va'amar, and he screamed out of the pit. Kol Shemez Koilai. If anybody hears my voice, Yichtayv get l'ishtay. Again, what's missing here? Tnu. He didn't say the word tnu. He said, write again to my wife. Harei elu yichtevu v'yitnu. They should also do the nesina, because that's what he meant. He's dying in a pit. It's interesting, yeah? So instead of going to save him, they go and they take a get. They write. Meanwhile, by the time they get back, he's dead. I guess there's no ladder, no rope. What are you going to do? You're going through the desert. He's down there in the bottom of the pit. As Gemara says, how can you trust a sound, a voice coming out of a pit? And Taisus on the bottom over here says, if you look like 2 lines from the bottom of the page, it says, "Umshani mitzuyin hem bebayers kederach shemitzuyin basados." Shedin like to hang out in pits. Shed is basically what we learned so far through Shas, from the beginning of Shas, I should say, is that Shed could look like a human being, and they actually could get married to human beings and they have children with human beings. They could do the different things that they could do. They were born during. They were like stopped. It was like. They didn't make it through the right by Shki over there. So the Sheshis made Bereisha. So they got stuck. They were like in between being created. So they're semi-human. They can fit through holes and stuff like that, but they're semi-human. They're not okay. I guess anytime you have like a big story, with the guy, you say, oh, he's a shed, he's not, because they could procreate and they die. The whole thing like humans. This is more of maybe the voice is not the real husband. They look like a human being. Here, you see again, shed looks like something. Shed looks like a human being. You saw a shadow. Says Gemara, a shed could also have a shadow. Says Gemara, no, you saw something that a shed doesn't have. You saw the shadow of the shadow. Whatever that means. There's a darker shadow, you go further away, there's a lighter shadow. They don't have the second shadow. Says Gemara, who told you that a shade doesn't have a shadow of a shadow? My son taught me. A shade doesn't have the shadow of a shadow. Rabbi Yankel Galinsky was walking on what now is Rehov Chazanish, and they've just installed a lamppost. And he sees the Chazanish staring at the lamp. So he says, Rebbe, what are you staring? What, you're impressed by this new lamp? He says, no. I just learned a big Musar Haskell I want to share with you. He said, when I was far away from the lamp, I noticed that it had a very long shadow. And as I got close to the lamp, my shadow got smaller and smaller. He says, the closer you get to Hashem, the less ego you have. A person that has a big ego and is not an Amisah is because he's distant from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When you're close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then you realize how small you really are. And as I got under the lamp, my shadow disappeared completely. He went on to explain, that's what it says, Moshe Rabbeinu is the greatest son of, because he was so close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He was the closest human being that was ever to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he was able, it put him in a place where he realized how small he really is. Vidilma, sorry. Maybe the person in the pit is actually the co-wife, the tzara, the one who hates the other wife, and she wants to mess up her tzara, and she's pretending that the husband wants her divorced, and she is going to be very sad about this divorce. She's going to go marry another man, and once she marries another man, it's all over for her now. She's going to have her husband to herself. Sorry. Okay. So the Gemara says at the end of the day, when there's a sakana, when we're dealing with something like somebody stuck in a pit, for the most part, most Rishonim learn that even if you didn't really see the two shadows, not shadow, but somebody screaming out of a pit, divorce my wife, that's a sakana, we can rely on that and give a get. Says the Mishnah, the elegant Mishnah, the official Mishnah, a healthy person, normal person said, write a get. Now what did he not say? Tenu. Again, he forgot the word nu. Over here, he's being mean to her. He says, I'm divorcing you, but he obviously didn't mean it because he didn't say tenu, and therefore, you don't give a get. There's a story with a person who said, give a get to my wife. And he's 100% regular guy, wasn't sick. And he fell off the roof. If he committed suicide, a get. In other words, if he anticipated his death because he knew he's committing suicide and he commanded to give a get, then it's like somebody that's out of fear. He's yotzei b'koilar, collar. So he forgot to say tenu because he was confused. So we have to give the get. In other words, when do you give the get? Before you commit suicide. There's some time, obviously you can't give a get after you commit suicide. Im haruach dechatu ain't get. If he was like Pesach Pelasatan, he said, give a get to my wife, and 5 minutes later he was pushed off the roof by a heavy wind. So obviously he didn't anticipate it. So then you don't give the get. Or if they gave the get, it doesn't count. Rishol Yaakov's son, I once heard him say that many times, and I thought this is foolish, I'm just saying this, I'm sharing with you. I'm not a mumch in this. It just sounded too good to be true. But then I kind of corroborated what he said today with a different story. He said that many times when boys want to commit suicide, these bachrim, they come to him, the troubled teenagers, he offers them a nice, good meal. And a lot of times after the meal, they forget about the suicide. All they need, they're a little hungry. That's what he said. Okay, I felt it was a little extreme. Then I found this guy from Australia. Don Ritchie's name is. He lives by the number one place in Australia to commit suicide. There's one suicide a week in this place. It's called the Gap. It's a little cliff. Every week somebody jumps off this cliff. And he lives right there. So he saved, he doesn't want to talk about it, but at least 160 people. When he sees them going over there, he says he has a soothing voice. He says, can I offer you a cup of tea? So it's something similar to Rav Yaakov's son. Can I offer you a cup of tea? And he's schmoozing them out of it, and he got 160 people to stop. They actually want to build a taller wall, but it costs $1.5 million, so they can't really afford it. And so like maybe it'll stop people from jumping. There's a 3-foot wall, and people just go. I don't know. I don't have the whole thing, but Azai is Ayin Sham Tzaddik. The guy is Tzaddikim Yisroel. He saved 160 people. Zog Gemara, Ma'aseh Listar. You start off the Mishnah saying that if a healthy person says kisvu, he forgets to say no, you don't give a get, and then a second later you tell me a story about a guy who was mamish healthy, and he said kisvu, he didn't say no, and then something happened to him, he fell off the roof, then you do give the get. Something's missing, a couple of words are missing. The Gemara says, yeah, obviously a few words are missing, but this is what you're supposed to understand. If a healthy person tells you to give a get, you don't give the get because you didn't say tnu. I'm sorry, he said kisvu, you don't give the get because you didn't say tnu. Kisvu, no, it's not. But if you see the end of the story, now everything becomes clear. Suddenly he committed suicide. Well, you have to stick in that gap. Just the word gap. There's something missing over there. You have to say, if the end of the story explains the beginning, then it's a get. And I'll tell you a story. There's a completely healthy guy. And he said, give a get to my wife. And that they said, if he committed suicide, then it's a get, even though he didn't say no. Why? Because you see from the end of the story what he really meant in the beginning when he said kisvu. He was confused and scared. It was the last moments of his life. And a get. But if the wind pushed him, then it's not a get. So the Gemara, another story. A person comes into shul. He bumps into a Rebbe and the Rebbe's son who's sitting. So we have three people. We have a random person, we have a Rebbe, and we have the Rebbe's son. Can I ask you a favor? Two of you write a get for my wife. Says the Gemara, terrible story. The Rebbe gets a heart attack and he dies. So the Gemara asks a question. When he said 2 out of the 3, did he mean also that the Rebbe's son should be one of the 2? Because sometimes it's not respectful. He's talking to the father, the Rebbe, and also the other guy, but maybe he wasn't talking to the son. Or perhaps, no, he's talking to the son also. And therefore, since the Rebbe is gone, the son fills his place and he writes the get. Me, Mashvi Inchi Baro, Shlicho Mokim Abo, Eloi, Nachman Omar, Loi Mashvi Inchi Bro, Shlicho Mokim Abo. Rahman says, no, that's not the way to do it. People don't do that. They only send the father, they don't send the son. So therefore, there's no get over here. No, they do it. Omarova Hilchasa, the halacha is, this is how we pass. It's not true. When he spoke to 3 of them, he said, all 3 of you, 2 out of the 3, I don't care which ones, the father, the son, the other guy, the father, the other guy, all of you. So if the father dies, you can use the son as a shliach. Says the Eli Mishnah, Omer l'shnayim tnu get l'ishti. Over here, he tells 2 people, let's see, I think at the end he did. Okay, we could just use this. Now that we're here, it's out of order. So you see the case on the right side, it's fine, don't mess it up, Mark, don't worry about it. Once I mention his name, I want to give him a tremendous shkoyach. He's a working man. He's actually right now in his office with all his friends watching the shiur, I think. Maybe yes, maybe not. But he has other things to do, no matter what time we tell him that it's a night, what's the Shabbos, 2 hours after Shabbos, New York time, doesn't matter. He's the one behind the scenes doing the tech right now because the guys in Yisroel. Although right now today they could have done it, but we didn't let them know that Mark's doing it. All right, so Yishkoyach Mark for all the hard work. Yeah. So he tells 2 people, give a get to my wife. That's the case in the red. But what is he missing, Rabbi Isai? Kisvu. Hey, fooled you. He said tnu, but he didn't say kisvu. Daf Yomi, Amud Beis. Sponsored by Mordechai Sapoznick. I think today's the last day. Mordechai Sapoznick, in my honor. Yishkoyach Mordechai. Yishkoyach for all the support. Always supports. And also by the Tehillim group, Tehillim.8mindav.com for all the Chaylim of MDY and the Chaylim of Klal Yisrael. Or, he said, Oil Shleisha, Kisvu get utnu li'ishti. He told 3, write and give. So let's see Rashi. Rashi says, Kisvu utnu get li'ishti, afa pishem ruim li'osis bezdin. When he told 3 people, so that's already a bezdin, and bezdin should have the ability to give it over to somebody else. Kivin the behed yomar luhu, since he told those 3 kisvu, loy bezdin shavinu. He didn't make them a bezdin. Elaydim. Okay, because that's basically what we're going to see in the next second. That the question is a person making a shliach or is he making them a bezdin? Once he tells three people the word kisvu and tnu, he's not making them a bezdin. He's making them edim. He's telling them, please, you yourself, don't tell anybody else to do it. Don't. There's a svara to say that a person doesn't want other people to know his deficiencies. We had it in the beginning of Sechta. He doesn't want people to know he doesn't know how to write a get. Remember, something like that. Okay. Those three are going to write and give the get. Now, in other words, they themselves are mechuyev to sign off on this get, nobody else. But over here, he said tnu to three, and he didn't say kisvu. That's like, so the first two cases of the Mishnah, tnu get lishti and kisvu get utnu lishti for three. The two, he only said tnu. The three said kisvu utnu. And now, he told the three, tnu get lishti, but he didn't say kisvu. Harei elu yoimru la'acher v'yichtavu. Check this out. I liked it. I got a little chuckle from this one. Aaron's with, I don't know, I just saw a little guy fly by. You guys notice that? Mm-hmm. There's a little shliach that, I don't know if that's on purpose. Yeah, okay. The guy on the left, Mavish, looks like that hat doesn't really fit him. This is good. Okay, so he's a fake diet. Harei elo yoimru la'achem v'yichtavu. So he made them into a bezdin. In other words, you have the ability to appoint other people to give the get, to write the get and give the get. They shall some best. That's Rameir Shita. V'zu halacha helo Rabbi Chanina ish Eli. Rabbi Chanina brought up this halacha. Mi beis ha'asurim. Who's the famous Tana that was in jail? Rabbi Akiva. He went to Rabbi Akiva and he asked Rabbi Akiva in jail. You see from here, doesn't matter jail, not jail. They're busy learning Torah. Bin azmanim, not bin azmanim, we're learning Torah. I have a Kabbalah when somebody says to three people, give a get to my wife. It doesn't say kisvu. They tell another three people, and they tell the three people, tell somebody else to write the get. Because he appointed them a bezdin. Bezdin appoints other people. Rabbi Yossi doesn't like this. He says, "Numeinu l'shaliach." We told the shliach. Who's the shliach over here? Rabbi Chanina. Afonu mekubalim. We also have a Kabbalah. You got a Kabbalah. We have a Kabbalah. Shafilo on the bezdin. I go to Yisroel. You get lishti. Even he tells the great bezdin Yisroel, give this get to my wife. She yilmadu v'yichtavu v'yit. No, they themselves, they can't appoint anybody else as Rabbi Yossi. It's not true. You say you appoint somebody else. No, the bezdin themselves. To the point where if the bezdin are so illiterate, they don't know how to write their own name, they don't know how to sign their own name, they don't know how to write, they should learn how to write. It's almost impossible because the bezdin, they knew 70 late, they were like tremendous and everything. The point is that they have to do it themselves. They can't just get somebody else to do it for them. They can't be lazy about it. He appointed them, they have to do it. Another halacha, Amalai Sarah. Kiss with nu, we saw this halacha many times, right? If a person says, and finally here's the Mishnah, let's see how many times we had it. Aleph. Only one time he brings. No way. I'm not Makabal. I don't know. It seems very familiar. More than once. Get lishti. He tells, maybe this case particular. He tells 10 people to write a get and give the get to my wife. What's the halacha? Now, how could 10 people hold on to a pen and write a get? So the halacha is echad kaisev. Obviously, what he meant is one should write, 1 out of 10, ushtayim kaisev. And two do sign the get. Echad kaisev, ushtayim kaisev. Kulchem kseivu. But what if he says, I want all of you to write? What he meant is, echad kaisev v'kulam kaisev. One writes the get, but every one of them has to sign. You'll remember this because it says, if one dies, the get is batal because he looked at everybody in the room. He said, all of you must sign the get. That means every single one of them. They sent from Rav's place to Shmuel's place. Please teach us. Oh, Ma'al it's very interesting, no? Because usually Rav was more chashed than Shmuel. He put himself down to Shmuel because of the story that happened with him, the sons and no sons. Over here, Yilamdeinu Rabbeinu. I want you, Rebbe, to explain to me. Shmuel should explain to Rav. From the house of Rav to the house of Shmuel. A guy said to two people, write. He said everything perfect. Kisvutnu, write and sign and give. Get the ishti. Va'amru l'soifer. And they didn't listen exactly. They went and they hired a guy to write it. They didn't write themselves. The soifer wrote. That's what we do today, no? If we were told, asked by a husband to write a get and give it, we don't know how to write Gittin. So what do? We go to the soifer, have a get, but we would sign it off. So that's what they did. They went to the soifer. They didn't listen exactly to the instructions. Mao, what's the halacha? Mao. Shalachlu, Shmuel sends back, Teitze. What does that mean, Teitze? If she uses this get to remarry, she must leave her second husband. Why? Because we have a big suffix here if this is a get or not. We need to look into this. We need to ask, what does it mean, Talmud? Talmud means, Shmuel says, I don't know, I need to ask greater people than myself. I have to ask Gdoilim. But what? Why? What's this big suffix? Maybe because it's mili. It's just words, not a tangible thing. Mili imim shliach, Eloi imim shliach. Oh. So check this out, Rabbi Yisai. Here's a idea in Chas. Mili mimser l'shliach or not. That's our sugya. If a husband gives something not tangible to shliach, he says, here, I want you to make a get for my wife. It's not tangible. He gave him instructions. Can a shliach take those instructions and pass it over to another shliach? What is he passing over? What is he giving over? So here's a little bit of a animation. Mili mimser l'shliach. Here's the husband. He gives words to shliach. He puts on a platter. The words are, give a get. So now he turns around and he gives the words to shliach. In other words, yes, it's not tangible, but the second shliach could obey those instructions and do it. Or we'll say, Mili loy mimser l'shliach. You cannot give words to shliach. So over here, the words are on a platter. What happens? The words go away. You can't give the words to shliach. Okay, that's the shaila here. Could you give over words or not? It's just words. And he had a suffix. Can one agent give over just verbal instructions to another agent? If it was like, here, give this money, this pack of money, it's tangible. Of course, one shliach can give another shliach. But could you give over just words? Says Shmuel, Rebbe, Shmuel says in the name of Rebbe, Allah Rabbi Yossi. Tells Rabbi Yossi, Omar Mili, Loi Mimser L'Shliach. We go with Rabbi Yossi that a shliach cannot give it over. So again, the husband said to two people, please write a get and give the get. They went to a cipher. But how could they tell the cipher to write the get? They only have instructions, verbal instructions. How could the cipher listen to them? They're not the husband. They're just agents. An agent cannot give over those verbal instructions to another shliach, to a cipher. And the halacha is, you cannot give it over. Like Rabbi Yossi said, what would be his question at all? So she's not divorced. If she got married based on that get, then she has to come out, not because of a suffix, because it's 100% not a get. This was his question. Haik soivu. What does it mean when the husband says, right? No, we can have the shaila also. What did he mean, right? Does he mean, I am going to New York tomorrow, but you chop around the last 4 minutes of the shir is great. Here, let me show you the clock. It's better than nothing. No, a minute of Torah is a minute of Torah. I love it. I'll tell you what. This might have to do with when I came here to the Siyum. I came here to the Siyum on what Masechta was it? Nazir. And I was very late. And as I walked in, my good friend Yale comes over and he goes, you're so late. Let's go. So this is it. This is the busha gets my right, Yale? Nice to show you. I was just thinking about it. Valdi. Okay, got you back in the 9 days. Mamish, bin al chaveru. Elo shmol avakom barlei. Haik soivu iksav yodon iksav aget. Now, think about it. A guy says to the guy, a husband tells his friend, write a get for my wife. What do you mean? He meant that he should literally write this, like the words here, these words, or he meant sign on the bottom. In our days, we know for sure what it means, sign on the bottom, because none of us know how to write this. But maybe in those days, there were professionals that we said, look, he's embarrassed that he doesn't know how to write it. Says the Gemara, did he mean the actual get or the signature? Additionally, says the Gemara, why don't we see from the Mishnah? They should write an entire get. It says, doesn't say to sign. So Gemara, I didn't know what they meant in the Mishnah. That's exactly what I was asking. Did he mean sign it in the Mishnah or did he mean to write it? Says the Gemara, I can prove it that he means literally to write it like a cipher. The Tani Sefer, Amar Rabbi Yossi, it says in our Mishnah, we told the Shliach, we told Rabbi Chanina, we also have a Kabbalah. You have a Kabbalah from Kiva, I have a Kabbalah also. What does it say in the Mishnah? They have to learn how to write and to give it. If you tell me they have to learn how to write like a cipher get, it makes a lot of sense. If it's talking about a signature, what? These are the Tehillim of the world. They knew 70 languages. They don't even know how to write their own. They don't even know how to sign their own signature. Yes. We're talking about brand new dayanim. They never learned how to sign. I'll tell you real quickly, and I said this many times, I'll say it again, because I'm here in Chicago. So in 2005, I bought, not to toot my own horn, but I thought it was a funny story. I bought 2,000 apartments. Somebody in this room was a partner in that thing, and he knows what I'm talking about, in 2005. And because it was a very complicated deal, it was 2,000 apartments, but 6 different properties. And the way the lawyers constructed the whole deal, and one of the lawyers was Elchanan Feinstein, it was that I had to buy all the apartments and then resell it, a whole maisa to the partners, all that. So Kitzer, they said you have to come like a few hours before the closing and you have to sign some documents. So okay, I come there, you've never seen anything like it, I have pictures somewhere. It was like 2 stacks of papers this tall and 2 lawyers on both sides, and they were just feeding me documents. And for 2 hours, my hand was about to fall off. That's how I learned how to sign my name. That's why it's a terrible signature. You look at my signature. Like I just think, because it was a buy and a sell of 2,000 apartments and 6 different properties. It was nervy. Anyway, so sometimes it takes a long time to learn how to sign your name. And for some reason, these guys didn't know how to sign their name. They are. It's possible. Says Gemara, and if you say, okay, so you're going to tell me that means that the husband told them sign your name, not don't write the get. Hok ksav get kosher. But if somebody else writes, it's kosher. Wait a minute. The whole how could somebody else write the get? It's verbal instructions that you can't give over to somebody else. There's a new thing. A husband could instruct somebody to instruct somebody else. In other words, if the husband tells Reuben, write a get, Reuben doesn't have the ability to tell Shimon to do it. We're almost done. Reuben doesn't have the ability to tell somebody else. But if the husband tells Reuben, tell Shimon to write the get, I want you to take care of it. Do whatever you need to do. Speak to any cipher in the world. Then, of course, Reuben can go ahead. Maybe not, of course, but at least at this point, we're holding Oimer Imru. He said, you tell somebody else to do it. In that case, Rabbi Yossi will admit that we listen to the agent, because the agent was told by the husband to find another agent. Once he got instructions to find another agent, in that case, Rabbi Yossi admits that it's okay. Rabbi Yossi, have a wonderful day. Yeshuos for coming. We'll see you, Beis Hashem, on Tuesday.
Night, 7:30.
No, Tuesday. When's the Erev Tisha B'Av?
Wednesday.
What? Wednesday's Erev Tisha B'Av? So Tuesday, 7:30 over here, Beis Hashem. And Wednesday, we'll have to tell you the exact time. I have to find out when Chatzos is, in like a good hour before Chatzos, not too much before Chatzos, because I needed some time to prepare. Have a gewaldige day, Rabbi Yisai. Thank you. Wish me luck.
Safe travels.